big season for them in the first stint. Then he returned to the Cubs for 3 seasons and made his only All-Star game in 2000. So he is back at Wrigley Field, and he grew up as a kid and was a big fan of the Cubs. He also went to Northwestern University, as you just saw, and Meredith Morakovitz made a tour of Northwestern with Joe yesterday in a segment for the Joe Girardi Show, which you will see in its entirety at the end of the weekend. But the bottom line is Joe actually paid very close attention to the Cubs winning, and Meredith asked him about it.
We are here on the beautiful campus of Northwestern. Joe, you went to school here. You grew up in Chicago. What type of emotions were there for you when you see the Cubs win their first World Series in over 100 years?
You know, I thought about my father and all the games that my father used to take me to and how badly he wanted to see the Cubs win the World Series. My grandfather was a huge fan, and all the people that I know, so happy for everyone involved because they've been waiting a long time, and just to see the pure joy, you know, from my mother's family, all their brothers and sisters, it's really neat to see.
With the history of the fact that they didn't win, did you think you would see it in your lifetime?
I did, you know, and I knew that this was a very talented group, and this group had a chance to do it, and they were on a roll, and they played very well the year before, and I felt this group really had a chance to do it.
So how did they build this group that broke a 108-year curse? They did it through free agency, trades. They did a good job in the draft. Chris Bryant was a first-round draft pick. That's a home run right there. And they used free agency to get their manager. Arietta came in a trade. Schwarber, a first-round draft pick as well. And this team has money, so they certainly mined the free agent market, picked up some big names that played big roles last year to win that World Series. We are coming closer to baseball here on a cloudy day in Chicago. It's cold and windy. It's perfect. It's a real Chicago day, but it is May 5th. Stick around. It's going to be great. Yankees and the Cubs. It's all coming up right here on Yes.
The Black Label Gel Euro Top Queen Mattress Set by Bob's Discount.
Chapman, who certainly played a huge role in the Cubs winning a championship, received his World Championship ring. GM Jed Hoyer there. Joe Madden gets a big hug from Chapman, and Chapman got some really big hardware right there. If you take a look at this ring, it is absolutely ginormous, and when you wait 108 years to win a World Series, obviously you've got to give out a big ring. So he got a lot of love from his former Cub teammates. Really just a Cub for about 2 months after the Yankees traded him here, and the Cubs got him because they felt that he would be the last piece for the championship. And Kenny, he certainly was.
He certainly was, Michael. He had a few rough spots in the World Series, but the Cubs were able to prevail. Remember, he gave up the home run to Rajai Davis, and the Indians actually tied the Game 7, but he actually pitched the next inning and shut the Indians down. The Cubs were on their way to the victory.
Pretty nice size ring there for Aroldis Chapman, so everybody takes a picture. That's one of the owners of the Cubs, Tom Ricketts, and of course Theo Epstein. Right now we're going to pause and we'll listen to our national anthem here in Chicago.
At this time, please remain standing and join Wayne Mesmer as he honors America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
A beautiful rendition of our national anthem. And that gentleman sings the national anthem here at Wrigley Field quite a bit. Also sang it during the World Series. That is Wayne Mesmer. It is a beautiful day. It's cold, but it's beautiful. And we're going to get baseball, and so you've got to stick around. A rare Friday matinee for the New York Yankees. A jam-packed Wrigley Field. Lineups, first pitch baseball coming up next.
Introducing the Lyme disease is dangerous. Spread by tiny ticks, it can cause life.
From the New York Lottery, you could win $1,000 a day for life. And by People's United Wealth Management, expert advice to set tomorrow in motion. Well, Jeter's not here. Bryant is. Big crowd filing in. A lot of Yankee fans have made their way to Chicago for what I'm sure will be a fun weekend for them. Now, there is a history between these two clubs, and certainly the trade of Chapman helped the Cubs win the World Series. Let's take a look at how these trades came down. Castro for Brendan Ryan and Adam Warren. Okay, that's one. Now let's take a look. Trading cards for Aroldis Chapman. Those are the 4 players the Yankees gave the Reds for Chapman. Now Chapman goes to the Cubs, and the Yankees get these players back. And now let's shuffle the cards. And essentially, Chapman and Warren come back, and the only big leaguer the Yankees traded for those players, Brendan Ryan. That's not too bad at all. So it helped the Cubs win a World Series, and then the Yankees got Chapman back as a free agent, Kenny, so I guess everybody's happy.
And the Yankees also built up their farm system with players like McKinney, certainly Gleyber Torres, and Brian Cashman made some very astute trading with the Chicago Cubs over the last couple of years.
Now, it's going to be a little different for the Yankees. They've had relatively mild weather at the beginning of the season. It is very cold here at Wrigley. They say the wind chill is about 32, and you expect the Bears and the Giants to have a game break out here at Wrigley. Well, the Cubs have taken the field, so let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup, which is presented by our good friends at Lexus. Brett Gardner's in left field. He'll lead off. Batting second, playing center, Aaron Hicks. Gary Sanchez is back off the DL. He'll catch, he'll hit third. Cleaning up second baseman Starlin Castro, and he's coming home. Aaron Judge in right field will bat fifth. Batting sixth, the shortstop Didi Gregorius. Chase Headley at third base will bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing first base, Chris Carter. And then Michael Pineda, with no DH in the National League, will pitch and bat ninth.
And on the mound for the Chicago Cubs in the opening game of this 3-game series, 27-year-old right-hander Kyle Hendricks. His record on the year, 2-1. His ERA is up there, 4.18. Maybe a few too many walks, 12 in 28 innings, 22 strikeouts. Opponents hitting just .216. Let's check out our pitcher scouting report, brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers, Max Scherzer and John Lester. Those were the 2 pitchers that finished ahead of Kyle Hendricks in the National League Cy Young balloting last year. Scherzer was the winner, Lester second. Hendricks was third, and Hendricks led the major leagues in earned run average last year, 2.13. This year it's up to 4.18. And what he does, he changes speeds very well. He's not an overpowering type pitcher, has a good two-seam moving fastball, and he promotes weak contact.
Well, let's take a look at the defense behind Kyle Hendricks, and it is presented by Geico. You've got Schwarber, who is not a good left fielder. That's where he plays. John Jay in center, a very good right fielder, Jason Hayward. In the infield is Bryant, Russell, Zobrist, and Rizzo. Third to first, Wilson Contreras is behind the plate, and Kenny told you all about Kyle Hendricks on the mound. Yankees have been great at home so far this year. They got a little bit better on the road, but still they are aiming to be better on the road and keep what they're doing at home the same.
Well, they're just 1 game under as they start this road trip here to Chicago and then Cincinnati, National League parks, which means they won't have the designated hitter in the lineup. The Yankees have gotten a lot of production from Matt Holliday lately. He's not playing today as he's been the primary designated hitter for the Yankees.
Well, Brett Gardner is not a slave to the weather. He's got the short sleeves on, so he wants to show you that he's a pretty tough guy, which he is. He also comes into this game with a 7-game hitting streak, 10 for his last 26, so his early malaise seems to be over. He had 4 home runs in the Yankees' just completed homestand, where the Yankees took 2 series, both from divisional opponents, the Orioles and the Blue Jays. So Gardner's ready. Hendricks is ready. And let's do it here at Wrigley. First pitch is low, and we are underway. Ryan Blackney's the home plate umpire. Alan Porter at first. Joe West at second. He's the crew chief. Hunter Wendelstedt is the third base ump. And the 1-0. A little bit low, 2-0.
Yeah, last year Kendrick went 16-8 along with that ERA of 2.13. He uses his sinker about 43% of the time. He also has a changeup, 4-seam fastball, a curve, and a cutter. So he's got a lot of weapons out there on the mound.
There's a strike.
You know, Michael, you talked about Gardner lately, how hot he was on the homestand. I think we started to see him come out of it in Pittsburgh when the Yankees were on their last road trip. He started to hit the ball harder, although some of them were caught. But once the hitter starts to hit the ball with more authority, that usually tells you he's coming out of a slump.
Count 3-1 on Gardner.
Very strong wind here in Chicago today.
That one is drilled to right field. Going back is Hayward, and he'll make the play. Gardner hit it well, but Hayward was right there. It's going to take quite a shot to get it out of Wrigley Field today. The wind is blowing straight in.
Yeah, particularly to left field. Although, during batting practice, Aaron Judge hit one off the video board in left field.
Here's Aaron Hicks. Off to a good start. Again, playing center field for the injured Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury, an active player. He said that the elbow's getting better, but not able to play just yet. So the Yankees are trying to avoid putting him on the DL. Fly ball, left center field, long run for Jay. He can't get there, and it's 1 hop against the ivy as Hendricks gives up a double to Hicks.
Well, Michael, you said it. Hicks is off to a pretty good start here this year. He's been around the 300 mark most of the time. And one thing I've noticed about him, that he's hitting the ball better to all fields. Also, he's been drawing some walks, too. And that's why Joe Girardi has him in his second spot to go along with his speed. As you see John Jay chase this down in left center field, Hicks is in scoring position.
And here's Gary Sanchez, thrilled to be back. Got hurt in the Yankees' second series of the year. That's the series in Baltimore. Has been on the DL since then. And he was 3 for 20 before he got hurt. 1 home run and 2 ribbies. So a runner in scoring position for Sanchez. And they play him straight away, although Rizzo pulled way off the line at first.
Sanchez had 13 at-bats in his rehab assignment with Scranton Wilkes-Barre. He had 5 hits, including a home run. Look out, he got him.
Got him. Welcome back, Gary. Well, let's see the hand that Starlin Castro gets as he returns here to Wrigley Field. Castro, who was here as the team was rebuilding. He and Rizzo kind of lived through it, but Rizzo got to enjoy the championship. Castro was traded to the Yankees, where he's done very well this year. 362, 5 homers and 16 ribbies. He has a 7-game hitting streak, and the pitch is low, 1-0.
Now, one thing they tried to work with Castro in spring training, and it seems to be working. They want him to be more calm at home plate. I mean, he's swung at way too many pitches out of the strike zone last year, and he still had a good year. I mean, he hit 21 homers, hit 270, but he's hitting about 100 points higher than that right now. So swinging at more strikes.
1-0. Fouled away.
Of course, Cub fans remember him 2011. Castro led the National League in hits.
Signed with the Cubs in 2006, made his debut in 2010. 2011 at the age of 21. Wow. 207 hits, youngest player to lead the National League in hits, and a 3-time All-Star here, so that's why he got the warm hand. That's ripped into right center field. That ball is going to be caught. A late call there by Alan Porter, and now they will double up. Aaron Hicks at second, and Joe Espada pointing to the Yankee dugout to say, take a look at that at replay. So we'll take a look before they do. Let's see if he made the catch.
Well, first of all, a 3-time Gold Glove outfielder, and he got the glove under it. Did the ball come out and hit the turf? Joe says, no, Joe, they're not going to challenge it. So it was a great play by Hayward to save some runs.
No runs hit, 1 man left. Yankees nothing. The Cubs coming to bat.
Spring.
And John Jay, the center fielder, will bat 9th.
Big Mike, Michael Pineda gets a start for the Yankees. He's off to a good start this year. In fact, he's 3-1 with an earned run average of 3.14. I mean, it's we're just into the first week of May. He's won half as many games as he won all last year. As we look at his numbers, 37 strikeouts, just 4 walks. Here's our pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealer. Home cooking. He's 3-0. All 3 of his wins have come at Yankee Stadium. And the Yankees are hoping he can take that act out on the road. An afternoon delight. Michael, you love this one. He is 2-0 in day games this year. And in each and every start, the Yankees have scored more runs for him than they did in the previous start.
Kyle Schwarber takes outside from Pineda. He's struggling. 1 for his last 13, 189 overall. Now on Tuesday, he hit a home run against the Phillies, his 20th home run in his 97th game, and that's the quickest any Cub got to 20 home runs. The previous best was Chris Bryant, who did it in his 114th game.
I tell you, Schwarber was a former #1 draft pick. The Cubs have several #1 draft picks on this team. Not all of them are their draft picks, but when they made some deals, they wanted the top players from the other clubs. Schwarber's the #1. Bryant's the #1. Addison Russell's the #1. Hayward was the #1. These good players. Whoa.
Shattered bat and a foul ball. Carter had to get away to the bat.
Here's another look as looks like that 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and Schwarber not quick enough to get the barrel to the ball. And if he had been, all he would have done is pulled it foul. Pulled it foul as it was. Shouldn't forget Javier Baez was a #1, and Albert Almora was also a #1 pick. So you get picked #1 with these Cubbies, you got a chance to get to the big leagues fairly quickly.
Ground ball right to Castro. He'll get Schwarber, 1 away. Let's take a look at the Yankees defense presented by Geico. In the outfield, Gardner in left, Hicks in center, Judge over in right. We go to the infield, Headley, Gregorius, Castro, and Carter. That's third to first. Gary Sanchez back behind the plate. Michael Pineda is on the mound. Now Sanchez coming off the DL. Yankees sent down Kyle Higashioka to AAA. There's Chris Bryant, red hot of late, 8 hits in his last 15 at bats, off to a great start. The reigning MVP, on base percentage of .417. Leads the Cubs with 36 hits. Also 21 runs and 18 walks.
Yeah, he's a tremendous player, and it's still very early in his career. We mentioned that the first year he was Rookie of the Year, second year MVP. Only 4 players have done that in the history of the baseball. And Dustin Pedroia, Ryan Howard.
High fly ball, right field, going back, Judge, track, wall, see ya! A home run the other way for Bryant, and it's 1-0 Cubs.
Well, Michael, you said he's been hot. By the way, the other player was Cal Ripken Jr. who did that. Here's a look. Something up in the zone, looked like a slider that kind of hung a bit. And I was talking to Reggie Jackson before the game. Reggie's here in Chicago. And he said, you're not a real home run hitter unless you can hit the ball out of the park anywhere in the ballpark. And this is a opposite field against the traffic and into the seats for a 1-0 Cub lead.
6th home run for Bryant this year. 4 of them have come in the first inning. Here's Anthony Rizzo in a 1-for-15 slump. And there's a strike from Pineda.
Yeah, the Cubbies had a 13-inning game yesterday against the Phillies here, but the Cubs won. Rizzo took an 0-for-6.
Cubs have won 3 straight. The 13-inning game against the Phillies that Kenny's talking about, they won 5-4. So the Cubs took 3 out of 4 from Philadelphia. There's Joe Madden, who was actually from Pennsylvania.
So he should know what cold weather's all about, huh?
And he should know Philadelphia, which is 95 miles northwest of where he grew up in Hazleton.
You know, Mike, we just saw Joe Madden. I kind of miss Joe in the out of American League East. Now he's with the Cubs here. He was very imaginative, and a lot of imagination with his players. Those theme road trips that they would have, where they brought a python into the clubhouse one time, jugglers, all kinds of stuff. Just trying to lighten the mood with the Rays. And of course, he got the Rays to the World Series in 2008.
Where they lost to the Phillies. 2-2. 3-2.
That's right. It's Cinco de Mayo. Jesus.
Cup sombrero.
I'm going to bring us some of those chilled margaritas up here during the game.
You don't have to chill them. Let nature do it. Pineda knocks it down, recovers. He'll get Rizzo.
You know, you see ground balls back to the pitchers, and sometimes they have problems handling it. And it's because when they're so close to the hitter when they release the ball, they're not really sure how hard the ball's hit. That was hit with some authority, but it's knocked down, and Pineda's able to make the play.
Here's Ben Zobrist. There's a strike. Zobrist had the game-winning double in the World Series in the 10th inning against the Indians. He had a great World Series, 10 hits and 28 at-bats. That's good for 357. And he also won the MVP, 3 extra base hits in those 10 hits, 2 ribbies, and 5 runs scored. So that's a good free agent investment for the Cubs.
Yeah. As we all remember, Yankee fans remember him with the Rays, and very versatile player, can play just about anywhere.
Rounded to first, Carter flips to Pineda, and that'll do it. But Bryant goes the other way, and he gets one against the wind and into the seats as the Cubs score a run. We go to the second. It is 1-0 Chicago. The Volkswagen League leaders, all of baseball. Aaron Judge leads with 13. Eric Thames, Ryan Zimmerman tied with 11. Chris Davis and Freddie Freeman tied with 10. But Aaron Judge 2 ahead of the field, and he will lead off here in the second against Kyle Hendricks, who has a 1-0 lead. Cubs just made a nice highlight video and played it on the left field board, honoring Starlin Castro. Crowd enjoyed that, and Aaron Judge has enjoyed to the beginning of this season. 330, 13, and 27. And a strike.
Had quite a homestand, 11 for 21, but it impressed me at 8 base on balls, which tells you he's becoming more selective and not chasing as many pitches.
1-1.
It's the changeup from Hendricks. Hendricks grew up in Southern California, but when he had the chance to go off to college, he went all the way to Hanover, New Hampshire, to Dartmouth. Said he couldn't pass up an Ivy League education.
And he was also drafted out of high school by the Angels, and his dad actually worked in the ticket office of the Angels. He said he was tempted because he always wanted to be a big leaguer. As Kenny said, the Ivy League beckon. Line drive, base hit, right center field. It's going to split the outfielders and go to the Ivy. Judge has himself another hit. This one's a double to lead off the second.
Now a 7-game hitting streak. You know, I think I mentioned this earlier this year that They used to say about Lou Gehrig, great Yankee Hall of Famer, they hit line drives by outfielders like most players hit them by infielders. And this is one of those line drives. Watch the center fielder, John Jay. Immediately, he is chasing this one down. It went by him like he was an infielder. And Judge has himself a 2-base hit. Man, he hits the ball hard.
So Judge at second, and that'll bring up Gregorius. The Yankees have hit the ball hard against Hendricks early. Remember, Castro lined into that double play to Hayward to end the first inning. Since coming out the DL, Didi 8 hits and 24 at-bats for a .333 average.
Here's another guy who showed right away on his rehab that he was ready to come back to the big leagues. He went 8 for 18 while he was playing in minor league rehab from that shoulder injury, which he suffered in the World Baseball Classic. And Gary Sanchez, I guess, you know, once you've been to minors or you've had a taste of the majors, you want to get back as quickly as possible.
Especially with the team winning.
Oh, yeah.
Judge gets a leadoff second. And the 1-1. 2-1.
This is a lookout, you know, maybe not quite the emphatic look. Yeah, it's a mini lookout. So Yankees been scoring runs at a much higher clip than they did last year. Hitting home runs. Michael, this, in a way, it doesn't surprise me. We kind of saw it in spring training this year. The way the Yankees were swinging the bats. And it's carried over into the regular season.
Two. Still 2-2.
Of course, a lot of people would say, well, spring training stats don't count. Some of the pitchers you're facing, you're not going to face during the regular season. They're minor leaguers. But still, you got to hit the ball.
Good battle. Well, the wind chill today, they say, is 37.
Oh.
And probably the warmest people in the ballpark are the relief pitchers, because the bullpens are not in sight. They're underneath the bleachers, and so the players have to watch the game on a monitor, and it's about 72 degrees out there, I've heard. There it is. Grounded to first. Nice play by Rizzo. There's one away as Judge moves to third. So Gregorius gets the job done. Almost had himself a double.
Yeah, Hendricks has been backed by 2 Gold Glovers on the right side. First Hayward in the first inning with that double play. Now Rizzo. Well, it hit fairly well, but Rizzo won a Gold Glove last year, his first. But on the play, Judge moves over to third as Didi gets the job done. When we were riding out here on the bus today, was it lake churning up or what?
Oh, wow.
It looked like the ocean, the way those waves are coming into the shore. Of course, we're talking about Lake Michigan.
Headley. Fly ball toward right field, but foul. Cubs bringing the infield in with Judge at third. They have a 1-0 lead here in the second inning. Meredith Morakovich joins us. What do you have on Headley, Meredith?
Well, Michael, it's interesting. The last time that Chase Headley was here at Wrigley, he was actually a member of the San Diego Padres. He found out later in the day that he had been traded to the Yankees. He would later arrive in New York only to hit a game-winning home run late in the game.
It's funny you mentioned San Diego because Kenny and I were walking up to the press box earlier, and two older gentlemen in Cubs jackets, and they work in front of the press box. Hit sharply to second. Coming home is Judge. The throw. Got him. So Judge was going on contact because the ball was hit right at Zobrist.
Well, the Cubs have made the defensive plays here in the early going to keep the Yankees off the board. I don't know how comfortable Wilson Contreras felt with Judge bearing down on him from third base. Ball's hit hard by Headley, but Judge is going to try it. Zobrist makes the accurate throw, and he is cut down at the plate. There's Contreras. Ball is there before Judge, and he's tagged out. Tags him in the upper chest.
Here's Chris Carter. Fouled away anyway. To finish that story, we're walking into the press box, and the two older gentlemen, they have the ski caps on and the hooded Parker of the Cubs, and they said, "Welcome to San Diego, gentlemen."
Now you wonder what the Cubs are thinking. They saw Chris Bryant, I should say Chris Carter, last year, and he was tied for the league lead in home runs, and he's batting eighth in this lineup.
Kenny, obviously Judge was going on contact.
Yeah.
That's called from the bench, and because you wouldn't go just on a read, because the ball was hit right at Zobrist, who was in.
It was hit pretty hard too, so it even more of a chance of getting him out at home plate.
Snap throw to first. Getting back is Headley.
You reach for the far end of the bag. Make that first baseman have to go and get you to make the tag.
Swing and a miss. Carter down on strikes. Yankees, no runs a hit, no errors. One man left on base. We go to the bottom of the second inning at Wrigley. It's 1-0 Cubs. Toyota Prius Prime is the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. We asked, did you consider, or do you consider the Cubs favorites to win the World Series again 2017? Why or why not? Michael K. Rocks, as you can see, my 4-year-old is already on Twitter. Of course, they still have a great lineup and a great rotation. The Cubs will be favorites for years to come.
Way to go, Charlie.
This is a good team, and it's young, Kenny, so they will be competitors for a long time.
Yeah, and you add into the fact that the Cubs have the wherewithal to keep them if they want to.
Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius Prime to keep the conversation going. 108 years. Wow. There's Addison Russell. Pitches high.
Here's one of those young players you were talking about. 21 homers, 95 runs batted in last year.
He's the guy who kind of made Castro expendable.
When Addison Russell was first traded to the Cubs put him at second base, and Castro was at short. Then they flipped him.
Fly ball into center field, and Hicks with the play for the first out. Aaron Hicks came in quickly and made the play on the sinking line drive.
In the early going here, we've seen some good defensive plays. Now it's the Yankees' turn as Hicks will catch this sinking line drive off the bat of Addison Russell. We've seen Hayward, we've seen Rizzo, we saw Zobrist, all make good plays for the Cubs. And now Aaron Hicks showing that the Yankees have some leather out there as well. Nice catch, tumbling catch in center field.
Here's Jason Hayward. Hayward spent all winter reworking his swing. Signed a big money free agent contract with the Cubs and just was almost an automatic out at the plate all of the year. Great defense, though. But coming into this game hitting .263, so obviously he did something right over the winter as he grounds out to Castro. So Pineda will pitch to Wilson Contreras. Contreras has had a funky career with the Cubs. Highly thought of when they first signed him, then kind of meandered through the minor leagues, and he was actually left open to a Rule 5 pick if any team wanted him, and everybody passed. And then all of a sudden the minors, he found it, and here he is, the Cubs catcher.
I think when he was first in the system, he was a third baseman. And then they converted him to catching. He's got a very strong throwing arm. He's thrown out 6 runners attempting to steal this year. That's the most of any catcher in the big leagues. He shares those duties with Miguel Montero.
And he was signed by the Cubs before Theo Epstein got here. And Theo really wanted to put his imprint on this team and really moved a lot of those players. Well, Wilson Contreras, when he wasn't selected in the Rule 5, the Cubs stayed with him and an important part of this team. 2-0. There's a strike. Check swing fouled away. Kenny, you made your major league debut here.
A long time ago. And when I was walking down from the Yankee clubhouse, I made that same trip. I mean, you kind of meander underneath the stands there until you get to the opening in the dugout, and the first thing you see is that big scoreboard in center field. And it looked just the way it did way back in, what, 1970. Wow.
Contreras swings and misses as Pineda retires the Cubs in order. 1-2-3. We'll go to the third. It's 1-0 Chicago. First, the Yankees take on the Royals with coverage beginning at 3 p.m. on FS1. Then switch over to Fox as the Yankees battle the Cubs at 7 p.m. in the second game of this big weekend set from Wrigley Field. And part of the broadcast team for the Yankees and the Cubs on Fox is our good friend Ken Rosenthal, and he joins us here in the chilly booth of Wrigley Field. Hey, Ken.
How are you, Michael?
All good. All good.
Look at you without the overcoat. Impressive.
I just took it off because I knew they'd shoot us up here.
See, you look at me, I still got mine on.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, Michael Pineda will lead off against Kyle Hendricks. Now, I know that you've been impressed like most of Major League Baseball. I think also outside the baseball world, people are taking notice of Aaron Judge.
Absolutely, people are taking notice of him. He's a unique figure in the game right now, obviously because of his size.
How about that, a base hit for Pineda.
His size, his power, how hard he hits the ball. Wrote a long story about him yesterday, Michael, and the story was mostly about his makeup, and they've compared it to Jeter's makeup. And I don't need to tell you guys or anyone in the Yankee audience what that kind of praise means. That is the highest of praise. And the Yankees do quite a bit of work with prospective draft picks. They interview more than 120 personally. Chad Bowling's the head of their mental conditioning department. He did that with Judge, and obviously he came away with very positive impressions. And this is a guy who needs good makeup as well as good athleticism, because there is not a long history of players his size who have succeeded or even played in the major leagues. Hitters.
What's interesting, though, Ken, is everybody, even last year, knew he was a good kid, but he was striking out 42 times in 84 plate appearances. No one, I don't think the most optimistic Yankee executive, thought that this would happen.
Agreed. And it's a tribute to his work ethic, the adjustments he's been able to make, really all of it. And one thing that stood out, Rob Thompson told me this, even last year when it was bleak, he came in every day, head up, chest high, and just had that look about him, that he was not beaten, he was not defeated. And a lot of times with a prospect, you guys have seen this, guy goes through a stretch like that, you've got to send him back. And here he is, tearing up the league.
Now, has Major League Baseball committed yet to having him in the Home Run Derby? I mean, come on, what are they waiting for?
It won't take long. The Home Run Derby could be quite interesting this year, actually.
Oh, my goodness.
Since everybody, all they try to do now, Ken, is hit home runs.
No doubt. I mean, with the 3 true outcomes, a walk.
Right. Walk, strikeout, home run.
Yeah, that's
launch angle, ball in the air. It's all we hear.
I mean, there's way too many strikeouts. I mean, every year they set a new record for striking out.
Exactly.
You look at the way the Cubs built this team, Ken, and they did a little bit differently than other teams because they went for hitters to draft and they didn't really look for pitchers. Now, the Yankees are looking for pitchers in the draft, and they have drafted some, but it looks like they also are piling up hitters as well.
They are, and it's a big difference in the way these two teams went about it. The Yankees did not go all the way back, and you see that reflected in the draft. The Cubs, 5 straight top 10 picks, and who were they? Baez at 9, Almora at 6, Bryant at 2, Schwarber at 4, and Ian Happ, who was one of their top prospects, at 9. So that's 5 straight years of top 10 picks. The Yankees' last top 10 pick, Derek Jeter, 1992. So the Cubs had to go all the way back to get those picks. When I mean all the way back, I mean down in the standings. The Yankees did not do that. They retooled on the fly, and most of their players who are homegrown are lower rounds. Judge is the only first rounder, and he was a 32nd overall pick. So it's a little bit of a different path, and we're seeing, yes, the Yankees kind of gather hitters and pitchers, deep at shortstop, deep at a couple of different spots.
Well, what do you think of the trades that the Yankees made to refuel their farm system?
Excellent, and that's something else that the Cubs did. They made a lot of trades, and they traded for Addison Russell. They traded for Kyle Hendricks. Rizzo was a trade. Arrieta was a trade. Now, most of those guys were in the major leagues at the time. The Yankees have traded for kids. And we'll have to see how that plays out, Ken. You know this. They're not all going to hit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you gather enough, you've got a chance.
Here's Hicks, who doubled his first time up. That one he loops into right field. It's going to be a base hit. And Pineda held up the throw by Hayward. Not in time.
Oh.
Ken, it's so much fun seeing pitchers run and hit. I just love it.
You know, I was happy to see Pineda get a base hit, but I'm not so happy to see him run the bases. And you just saw an example of that. And, you know, managers of American League pitchers, when they get on base, they have their fingers crossed.
Well, look at Stephen Wright last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Running the bases. Now, I argue with Tom Verducci about this all the time. Tom is a staunch National League guy. I do not see the joy of pitchers hitting. We've got Bumgarner, we've got Kershaw, we've got a few others, but for the most part,
that's it.
The big hairy chested DH.
Here is Gary Sanchez. So Pineda is at second, and Hicks, who's 2 for 2, he's at first. Another thing to note, if you heard the stat, I read it earlier this year, Kenny, when a pitcher is on base, like 75 to 80% of the time, the next half inning, he gives up a run.
Did not know that. It's rather revealing.
Let's see who's coming up for the Cubs next time. 8-9-1.
So Sanchez, just off the DL, was hit by a pitch in the first inning, comes up here in a big spot in the third. Yankees are down 1-0. You know, the way the Yankees were built, Kenny, and with the trades and things like that, I never thought that Brian Cashman got enough credit for being a good GM because he always had the money to spend.
Right.
I think this is actually highlighting how he could wheel and deal.
No, I agree with that, Michael. And this kid right here is an example of how prospects go up, they go down, and he finally ended up on the upside. This was an amateur free agent signed in 2009. It took him this long to establish himself until 2016. And Yankee fans out there should know that some are going to be quite good, some are going to fail, some are going to go up and down. It's just the way it is.
Ground ball, third base. Brian goes to second, one on to first. It's a double play. Ken, thanks so much. Kenny's going to be part of the Fox broadcast crew. 7 p.m. tomorrow on Fox. Yankees against the Cubs, a nationally televised game. And Kenny will be part of that crew. So the Yankees are trailing 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. Your favorite custom Yankees cap at yankees.com/Pepsi before it's too late. Please be entered for a chance to win Yankees tickets or other awesome prizes when you vote. All right, we go to the bottom of the third inning. Yankees have had their opportunities. They have not been able to do it. First and second, one man out in the first inning, double play. An opening double in the second inning by Judge. They don't score. And then the Yankees had runners on first and second and one out. And Gary Sanchez hit into a double play. So the opportunities were there. They haven't cashed in at this point.
Yeah, they've been able to hit the ball hard off Hendricks, but nothing that score some runs. Meanwhile, Pineda's pitched pretty well. Gave up the one hard hit ball. That was a home run by Chris Bryant.
So let's see how Pineda does after spending the last half inning on the bases. And the first batter he'll face is the number 8 batter, Kyle Hendricks. This was started with Tony La Russa. Occasionally he would have the pitcher bat 8th, and then a position player bat ninth. Pitch is up and in. Hendricks 2 for 8 so far this year with a ribby, so a 250 hitter, not an automatic out.
You get a pitcher up around the 200 mark, and he can contribute from time to time with the bat. I mean, Pineda's got himself a hit today. First time a Yankee pitcher has had a hit since 2015. It was a Brandon Pinder had a hit. He had a double against the Braves.
Two and two on Hendricks, so it'll be Hendricks, Jay, and Schwarber. Strike three. That pitch traveled 92 miles an hour and is brought to you by the Fast Pitch Speed Analytics, brought to you by FiOS.
You know, one reason why managers from time to time will have the pitcher bat eighth, they want to stick John Jay. Well, he might not feel comfortable about it batting ninth, but he is going to get the hit. The thing is, they want a hitter in front of the top of the lineup instead of the pitcher, who is more or less an automatic out.
There's a strike. Good start to the year for John Jay, 362 and 47 at bats. On base percentage of 464.
Yeah, veteran outfielder.
And that got a piece of Jay, so he will go to first base.
On base percentage goes up a tick. And Jay with the Cardinals and the Padres. Looks like it's going to be that slider down and in. Catches him on the maybe both feet. It looked like you got both up. 1-2. That's going to cut down on your dance step in.
So here's Schwarber. Schwarber kind of shocked the medical community in the baseball world last year. He tore up his knee, I think, in the 4th game of the year.
Collision, yeah.
And that's it. He was going to be out, but he made it back for the playoffs and actually played a big role in Cleveland because he was able to DH. He wasn't quite ready to play a position, and the people just marveled at it. His stick-to-itiveness and work ethic to get back, and he never left the team. Some people get hurt and they rehab somewhere else. He was always around the team. Used it as a motivating force.
That man from Ohio went to the University of Indiana. So he knows what, like Joe Girardi, he knows what Big Ten baseball is about.
When the Yankees made the deal sending Aroldis Chapman here, they asked for Kyle Schwarber. But Schwarber was an untouchable, according to GM Jed Hoyer and President Theo Epstein. They just love this guy.
Tremendous power. But the Yankees did get Gleyber Torres out of that deal.
Shift is on, 3 infielders on the right side.
And we saw Torres in spring training. He was quite impressive, and he's been doing well in the minor leagues.
Was on the shelf just for a bit, but came off the DL and actually started to hit even better than before he was injured. And Torres is in Trenton, and that's the Yankees AA affiliate. talked about pitchers hitting, Kenny. Kyle Schwarber is probably a perfect DH, and I think the Cubs put him in left field and they kind of hold their breath. That they think he'll be better as time goes on, but that's how he got hurt.
I think in the game yesterday, he actually caught a little bit, or within the last few days, he's caught. He was a catcher in college.
One, two. Still 1-2.
And the Cubs are in love with his power, his very quick bat. I just look at those flags and see the way the wind is blowing and the chill in the air.
Grounded to first. Carter goes to second. That's all they get. Never thought he would take or try to take the out at second after the bobble, but he did, and he gets John Jay.
I think one reason he did go to second even with the bobble because the ball was hit so hard, and he's thinking he does make an accurate throw to Didi, and Didi just high steps over John Jay. No relay to first base. There's the bobble. There's the accurate throw. Didi. I was thinking about the wind and the chill. You're going to Texas this year, aren't you?
Yep.
You know how it's going to be? What, I think it's July.
No, Texas is
September. Well, it's still hot in September. So no complaining this year when we get there.
Bryant rips one foul. Last year, Bryant led position players in WAR with a 7.7 WAR. That's wins above replacement, and that incorporates everything: defense, base running. He's a great base runner. Goes from first to third more than most players on singles. The 0-1. 0-2. He had a home run to right field in the first inning. That's the only run on the board here in the bottom of the third. His 6th home run of the year. 9 for his last 16. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Bryant down on strikes. And although he was on the bases in the top of the third, keeps the Cubs away from home plate in the bottom of the third. 1-0 Cubs as we go to the fourth.
Rockies. I'm just across the street on one of the rooftops here at Wrigley. Speaking of Wrigley, it's the first trip back for Starlin Castro, who really grew up in the Cubs organization. I caught up with him earlier to ask him what it was like to step foot back at Wrigley.
It's gonna be always memory here because that's the team that gave me the fair opportunity to be a professional baseball player and be in the big league for the first time. You know, I always be thankful for the Cubs.
And the Cubs had a really nice video highlight film on the big screen earlier today to celebrate Starlin Castro's time here with the Cubs. And Michael, I hear a lot of Fordham fans out here. They went to Fordham.
Really? See, Rams are tough. There they go.
Michael, you should have got him better tickets.
How's the view from out there, Meredith?
Michael, it's absolutely spectacular. Little bit windy, though. And Kenny, you were talking about the chop of the lake earlier. Starlin Castro's teammates were actually asking him, where do you think the wind's going to be blowing? Which way is it going to be blowing today? He said he saw that lake and he automatically knew the wind would be blowing in. It would be one of those days here at Wrigley Field.
Is it cold up there, Meredith?
Just a little chilly. I hope you guys are enjoying the warm confines of the broadcast booth right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's a real sauna in here. Thanks, Meredith. So Castro has a 1-2 count. It'll be Castro, Judge, and Gregorius.
Meredith across the street. That's Waveland Avenue out left. Sheffield off right field, behind the right field bleachers. And I was reading the Cub notes today. Nobody that so far this year has hit a ball onto Waveland Avenue. Or Sheffield, for that matter.
Well, there have been some structural changes to Wrigley Field over the last couple of years. See the Audi scoreboard, 1-0 Cubs. That big scoreboard in left center, the big scoreboard down the right field line. And boy, was there a lot of negotiating and wrangling because it effectively ended some of the rooftop seats. Strike 3, Castro down looking.
Yeah, for years the Cubs would have disputes with the apartment owners about fans sitting on the roofs and watching games. You can see that pitch just out of the zone. Yep, just out.
Here's Aaron Judge, who doubled to right center his first time up. There's a strike. So that double moved his average to 337, has an on-base percentage of 438. He's also slugging 831.
Of course, this is Judge's first ever time at Wrigley Field. And one reason it's been called the friendly confines over the years is because it's 368 and the gaps in right center and in left center. Very friendly. Comes with some great Hall of Famers over the years. Mystic Cub Ernie Banks, 500 home run hitter. Ron Santo and Billy Williams. Some great ball players.
You know, this ballpark, it's almost like two separate ballparks. Don Zimmer managed here, and he used to tell me, he used to live in the apartments that are beyond the outfield. He said when he would wake up in the morning, he could see the flags atop the manual scoreboard. He would know if it was going to be a 10-8 game or 1-0 game because it plays completely differently with the wind blowing in. Two. 3-2 to Judge.
I think Mike Schmidt had a 4 home run game here once in a game that was like 23-19 or something like that. Hall of Famer with the Phillies.
Strike 3, Judge down looking. Before the game, Yankee manager Joe Girardi talked about 2 different ballparks here at Wrigley.
As I was saying, it's 2 different parks. You know, most ballparks play pretty similar all the time. This does not. You know, so you see a lot of low-scoring games in April and May, and you know, sometimes in September, just because of the wind factor. So you got to keep it low when you hit it here. You know, line drives will still go out to the bleachers, but if you're going to hit fly balls, they're going to be outs.
Here's Didi. Pitch is low from Hendricks.
By the way, that Cub-Philly game was 23-22. It was more like a Bear-Eagle game.
Those missed extra points are going to get you all the time. They're talking about those rooftop seats, Kenny. There's a rooftop with blue seats right down the right field line. I don't understand what they're looking at. I think they're looking at the back of that scoreboard.
Either that or they have monitors up there. They're watching the games.
High fly ball, right field. Hayward, Wing takes it. And he'll make the catch for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. Well, they're having a good time, whether they can see the game or not. We're going to the bottom of the 4th inning. T-Mobile. Boy, the Blue Jays need these guys back. Josh Donaldson could be activated from the DL Monday, calf injury. Troy Tulowitzki with a hamstring injury could come back the same day. That's the left side of their infield. Ian Kennedy for the Royals are off to a terrible start. He has a strained hamstring, so Kennedy placed on the 10-day DL. A lot of pitchers getting hurt. Cole Hamels on the DL with an oblique injury for 2 months. Really hurts the Rangers. Audi scoreboard, 1-0 Cubs. It'll be Rizzo, Zobrist, and Russell, 3, 4, and 5 against Michael Pineda.
Oh, one thing that impressed me about Anthony Rizzo last year, after the Cubs had won the championship and they had that big party, outdoor party, if you will, down at Grant Park here in Chicago.
Rounded to first, Carter's there.
And thousands of Cubs fans were there. When Rizzo got up to speak, he said this was for all the players who had played for the Cubs in the past. His world championship, and he mentioned Ernie Banks, he mentioned Sano, Billy Williams was there, Ryan Sandberg was there, and just thanked all of them in the past who had, some of them had come very close to winning championships, and it hadn't happened in 108 years until last year. And I was very impressed by Rizzo's sense of history. Of course, Harry Carey, the great broadcaster, over the Hall of Fame broadcaster with the Cubs, and he pulled out of his pocket the ball for the last out, and supposedly on an eBay that ball was worth like over $1 million.
Wow.
And he gave it to the owner, Tom Ricketts.
Well, he's got the $1 million. lot of people criticized the Ricketts family when they bought this team. I guess it was for about $800, $900 million, and it has skyrocketed in value with the improvements they've made to Wrigley Field, and obviously the team getting better.
Well, you know, all baseball teams have moved up in value. Now Pineda, outside of the one pitch to Bryant, has pitched a solid ball game. 3 strikeouts, hadn't walked anybody. That's usually his modus operandi. He doesn't walk many people. But Hendricks is starting to settle down on the other side. After being hit pretty hard in the first 2 innings, first 3 innings, he settled down last inning with a 1-2-3.
There's a strike. Zobrist tossed the bat away, thinking it was ball 4, and that will not curry favor with the home plate umpire.
Now it becomes on this 3-2 pitch anything close. And we get a look. He might think this is a little high, and maybe he might have been right, but he's not the one that's making the calls.
Strike 3. Just what you said, Kenny. Anything close. And Zobrist tossed the bat away for the 2nd time. Now he has to pick it up. Joe Madden not happy.
I hope you can't read lips, but let's see what this pitch does. If anything, it might have been a little off the plate. Let's see what PitchCast says. It says it's really close, and it also says that Gary Sanchez did a good job of presentation on that pitch.
Russell takes inside.
Anything close.
Well, 2 outs into the 4th inning, the Cubs have only hit 2 balls out of the infield. Obviously the home run by Bryant, and then Addison Russell's line drive to center field. Russell made the All-Star team last year, youngest All-Star in Cubs history, just 22 years old. There's a strike. .56 pitches for Pineda, which is quite good for the 4th inning.
Yep, he's as usual pounding the strike zone.
Foul back. The lights are on here at Wrigley as the ball rolls off the roof and back into the stands. And lights came on because it was kind of overcast and cloudy at the start, but there's not a cloud in the sky right now. Just blue skies here in Chicago.
Maybe we got the lights on to try and keep things warm.
Not working.
Not working.
Strike 3. Russell down looking as Blackney has a little bit of a wide strike zone. Hey, we're coming back for the 5th inning, 1-0 Cubs. Center here at Wrigley Field, and the 400 covered by the ivy, which is still coming in. It'll be a nice, beautiful green, lush green as we move along into the summer. Michael Pineda has pitched well. Luis Severino looks very cold. Chase Headley swings and misses as we start the 5th inning. Kenny mentioned Kyle Hendricks led all of baseball with a 2.13 ERA as a starter last year. First Cub to win the ERA title since Ray Prim, a 2.40 in 1945. GMC scoreboard shows you 1-0 Cubs over the Yanks. Hendricks was originally drafted by the Texas Rangers in the 8th round in 2011. And the Cubs acquired him in 2012 as Headley down on strikes. They sent Ryan Dempster to Texas to get Hendricks and third baseman Christian Villanueva. He's a winner, Kenny. Coming into the season, his record 31-17 with a 2.92.
Yeah, the Cubs have a very solid rotation. Jake Arrieta and John Lester. I believe the Yankees will see Arrieta in this series. I don't think Lester pitched the other day. The Yankees will miss him.
Tomorrow it's Brett Anderson against Jordan Montgomery, and Sunday it's Lester against Luis Severino.
Oh, so I was wrong. They won't see Arrieta. They'll see Lester.
(3-0) on Chris Carter. He struck out in the 2nd inning. Will Joe Girardi green light him here on 3-0?
You know, I would, with the pitcher coming up next. Let it all hang out. Get something you like, go for it.
And there's a walk to Carter. MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
I think that was sort of a strategic base on balls. You know, Carter's got the ability to tie the game. Now you got Pineda up, who's going to try and bunt him over and doesn't get the bunt very often.
There's a strike.
Although he did have a base hit his last time up.
Right back to Hendricks. Good bunt by Pineda. So it's a sacrifice 1-4 as Carter moves into scoring position.
So Pineda's had a good day at the plate. Base hit, now a sacrifice. It moves the tying run into scoring position. He's got a big smile on his face. Here it is. But the infield is charging. Only one play at first base. See it on Yesmo. Brought to you by your local Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer.
The Yankees have another runner in scoring position, and here is Gardner, who's 0 for 2 against Hendricks. One 1-0. Some history between the Yankees and the Cubs in the World Series. They've met twice in the World Series, in 1932, 1938, and the Yankees swept both series. And the 1932 World Series right here, that was the one where Babe Ruth allegedly, supposedly, reportedly called the shot against Charlie Root in Game 3.
There's very little video evidence of that, and certainly not in HD if there is.
Three and 0 with Hicks on deck. And in 1938, Red Ruffing was 2-0 with a 1.50. He won games 1 and 4 for the Yanks. Strike. Throwing through, but Carter gets back.
You know, the thing about Babe Ruth hitting that home run after supposedly he called the shot, some people say, yeah, he did it. Other people say no. It's, as we look at the Babe, there's the video evidence that we have. For all we know, that could have been William Bendix.
3-1. Strike, 3 and 2.
Which way are you leaning on that, Mike? Did he do it?
You know what? He's so legendary, so iconic. I'd say yes. If anybody could do it, he could do it.
I would say yes, too. Makes for a good story.
And he was so far ahead of every other baseball player.
I think the Yankees actually crushed the Cubbies in their World Series.
4-0. 3-2. And Gardner works a walk. There's a couple of walks by Hendricks here in the 5th. Yankees have runners on 1st and 2nd for Aaron Hicks.
Yeah, he tried to pick off the inside corner. That's the hardest pitch he's thrown in this inning. It may be in the game. After all the slow stuff, he tried a two-seamer to break over the corner, and it didn't quite make it. And Gardner draws the walk, and it brings up Hicks. And as you can see, this fairly easy call for the home plate umpire.
Aaron Hicks 2 for 2, average up to 315, doubled and single. There's a strike from Hendricks. Hendricks was an economics major in Dartmouth, so he's going to have to calculate how to get out of this. Count 1-1.
Might have to calculate how to keep that pitch count down from this point on. He's up to 80.
Two and 1. Carter is at second. Gardner's at first. Yankees trail 1-0. We are in the top of the 5th inning. And a 2-1 count on center fielder Aaron Hicks. Now 2-2.
Good off-speed pitch from Hendricks. Slow curve. 71 miles an hour.
And Contreras wants to talk with his pitcher.
Now this is the guy that's given Hendricks the most problems on this day with a double and a single.
Grounded to first. Rizzo just beat Hicks to the bag. And I mean just beat him to the bag for the final out of the 5th inning. Let's take a look at how close it was. Wow. That's how close. Yankee strand 2. We're halfway through. Let's come out to Yankee Stadium on Tuesday, May 4th, or check that, May 23rd, when the Yankees take on the Royals. The first 18,000 guests 21 and older receive a Yankees Dunkin' Donuts card preloaded with $2. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com. Visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. All right, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and it's 1-0 Cubs. First inning home run by Chris Bryant, holding up to this point. It'll be Hayward, Contreras, and Kyle Hendricks here in the bottom of the 5th against Michael Pineda. GMC scoreboard, 1-0 Cubs. Pineda's pitching a one-hitter. Unfortunately for him, that hit was the solo home run in the first inning with 1 out by Bryant. Hayward swings and misses. If you remember in the World Series Game 7 when the Indians came back, there was a slight rain delay, which allowed the Cubs to kind of recalibrate. And Jason Hayward gave a spirited speech while they were in the clubhouse, just waiting for the tarp to come back off. So might not have hit last year, but that was a big part of what they did. They all give him acclaim for that speech.
Well, the rain delay only lasts about 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah. But they were reeling. Here's Contreras.
Well, it was a great comeback. What, they're down 3-1.
Yep.
It's not many teams have done that.
Well, they were the first team since 1985 to do it, when the Royals came back against the Cardinals. And the 108-year drought by the Cubs, the longest drought in American sports history. Two and one. That used to have 1908 in Roman numerals. No more. High fly ball, right field. Going back, Judge. He's on the track. The wind takes it, and he dropped the ball. And Contreras rounding second. He'll go to third. And that'll probably be an error on Judge. The wind is whipping from left to right. I mean, really strong. The flags are starting straight out. And it was so high that it just took the ball away from Judge.
Yeah, the Judge has been a solid outfielder, but he made one mistake on this one. It wasn't actually dropping the ball. The mistake he made came well before that. He went back and took his eye off the ball, just trying to get to a spot where he thought the ball was going to be. Now the wind, while he's going back to where he thought it was going to be, the wind takes it away from him, and he can't make the catch. And the Cubs have a runner at third with 1 out. So on a day like today, you got to follow the ball. You got to track it instead of running to a spot and then trying to make the play. The wind's going to affect the ball too much in the outfield.
That's an E9 on Judge, and here is Kyle Hendricks. Yankees bring the infield in. Also have to give credit to Contreras, a fly ball to right field, and he's running as if he just hit a triple, and that's why he was able to get the third easily.
Well, he's played enough games here. You should know when the wind is howling like it is today that things can happen. Will the Cubs go for a squeeze play here?
It was of the safety variety.
Safety variety means we're going to take a look at the fly ball first. This is what Michael was talking about. Contreras out of the box going hard. He sees the Judge drops the ball right there, and he's going to make it to third base standing up easily. How many times have we seen guys just go, ah, that's an out, and they barely get to second base, let alone third?
Here's the 0-2. Grounded to Castro. Contreras holds up. 2 outs.
If the Yankees get out of this inning without a run scoring, the happiest player on the field is going to be Aaron Judge.
that'll bring up John Jay against Michael Pineda. Runner at third, infield backs up now with 2 outs. No. There's a strike. Swing and a miss.
Pineda's reaching back for a little extra with a runner in scoring position. He's had himself a solid ball game. He needs the run support. I had mentioned that the Yankees in each and every one of his previous starts, they had scored more runs than they had the previous one. Well, they were getting up there with, I think they scored 7 or 9 in his last start, so it's going to be tough to go beyond that.
Grounded to short. Gregorius gets Jay, so they pick up Judge. Coming up in the 6th inning, Sanchez, Castro, and Judge. Stay tuned.
Today's injury report brought to you by Montefiore, doing more in state-of-the-art healthcare. Jacoby Ellsbury, who's been out with a bruised nerve in his elbow after injuring it running into the wall at Yankee Stadium, told me earlier today that that elbow is steadily improving. He got treatment today, did some stretching, and also hit in the cage for the first time. Guys, he could be back as early as tomorrow.
Thank you, Meredith. You would figure that he would be back this weekend. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a good thing not to put him on the DL and play short for that many games. Here's Sanchez as the Yankees trail 1-0 as we move to the 6th. Sanchez just off the DL, was hit by a pitch in the 1st and then wrapped into a 5-4-3 double play in the 3rd. Yankees have left 5 runners on over the first 5 innings. Lined and right at the shortstop, Addison Russell. One away.
Didn't get all of it. In fact, I thought he might have broken his bat, but still strong enough to hit a line drive that Russell has to go down on a knee to haul in.
Here's Starlin Castro lined into a double play and struck out looking. Pitch outside.
That might have been a key play of the game so far as the Yankees are concerned in the first inning. Looked like they were going to score. Great play by Hayward in right field, showing off his defensive prowess and turning it into a double play. Yankees have had their chances. Hendricks has only had one 1-2-3 inning.
Yankees 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position today. Grounded and caught there on the dive by Bryant. Gets to his feet, but Castro beat it out. Infield single.
Bryant laying out and closing the hole. It put his 6'4" frame to good use here. Looked like the ball was going to scoot through. He comes up with it. Makes a strong throw, but Castro hustling down the line gets a call from Alan Porter, first base umpire, and you can see he is safe.
Well, the Cubs are waiting to see whether or not they'll challenge, and they say no, they will not. You saw Didi on the top step of the dugout in the background there playing umpire as well. Here is Judge. Judge is 1 for 2. He doubled to right center, and an interesting stat about that double, kind of an eye-opening stat. According to StatCast, that double left his bat at 119 miles an hour. That's called exit velo. He has 9 batted balls of 115 or more miles per hour this year. No one in baseball has more than 2. The 0-1.
The harder you hit the ball, less reaction time for the fielders in the field. And as I said before, when he hit that double, John Jay was chasing right away. He was just in retrieving mode. The ball was going to get in the gap. Couldn't cut it off.
Well, pitching coach Chris Bosio will come out and talk with Hendricks. Now, Hendricks' longest outing this year is only 6 innings. And his pitch count is at 93. So Blackney going out to break it up. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Hendricks' season high in the young season, just 96, so he's 3 away from that, with a 1-1 count on Judge. Hit sharply and through for a base hit. Castro stops at second. Judge, his 2nd hit of the afternoon. And again, the Yankees are threatening first and second, 1 man out.
That had some exit velo on it. This time as Bryant lays out, the ball's already by him in the left field for a base hit. Another multi-hit game for Aaron Judge.
All right, so Joe Madden is going to call on the left-hander with Didi Gregorius due up. Hendricks is done. We're not close to done. The Indians take on the Royals with coverage beginning at 3 p.m. on FS1. Then you have to switch over to Fox as the Yankees battle the Cubs at 7 p.m. in the second game of this big weekend set for Wrigley Field. And they got the A-team, Buck, Smoltz, Rosenthal, and in the studio for the pre and post game tomorrow night, Alex Rodriguez. Get to see what A-Rod has to say about his old team. Here's Didi against Brian Dunsing. High fly ball right field. Wynn takes it. John Jay comes in and dropped the ball. Wow. Wow, so everybody is safe, bases loaded. The wind is just brutal today for outfielders.
Oh my goodness.
They gave him a hit.
Christmas has come early for Didi Gregorius. This ball was high enough in the air that any one of the 9 fielders could have gotten it. Except for John Jay. Ball breaks off his glove. The Yankees have the bases loaded.
So here's Chase Headley. Cubs are playing for the double play. Shortstop, second base back.
I'm going to need the wideout. I put down E8.
And the pitch. 1-0.
Of course, the runners they can only go as far as halfway. They expect that ball to be caught, so that's why they can only move up 90 feet. Former Minnesota Twin, Ryan Dunston. He was a starter with Minnesota, now working out of bullpen.
Line drive, right field, caught by Hayward, tagging Castro. Here he comes. Here's the throw. He is out. The ball was up the line, and Castro hit Contreras, and he held on to the ball. Not sure where Contreras got hit, Kenny.
Might have shaken up a shoulder as Castro runs into him. Oh,
face
right in the jaw. And he is just now getting up. There was some confusion on Castro on tagging up, and I'm not saying he would have beaten the throw because Hayward is, as we said, a 3-time Gold Glove outfielder. But we'll look at it a little later.
Yankees strand 2, another double play. They trail 1-0.
Looks as though Contreras is going to be all right. I'm sure they're checking him out quite thoroughly. But you can see Castro came about a third of the way down the line, then had to scramble to go back and tag up. Then he runs to the inside instead of maybe around the other way, is tagged out for the final out. Joe Espada, get back. And then he's out. By the way, the Cubs have turned 4 double plays in the last 2 days on balls hit in the air. And Hayward has been a big part of their defense today. Another look. I mean, if anything, that's medium right field. Maybe medium to fairly deep right field, and Castro doesn't come close to scoring because he hesitated. He came down the line, then had to go back.
Ken, he was out by 10 feet.
Easily.
It was not a great throw because it was up the line. Schwarber rips one deep to right field. That ball is gone. See ya. Home run for Schwarber. It is 2-0 Cubs.
Pineda's given up 2 hits. Both of them are homers. There's an example of the Schwarber power. That ball got out of here quickly. Cheated the wind.
Well, you heard Joe Girardi earlier. Days like this, you have to hit on the line.
Yeah.
If it's in the air, you don't have much of a chance. Chris Bryant fouls it away.
Schwarber didn't take any chances. He wasn't sure either, but he broke it down about halfway to first base.
Bryant's 1 for 2. Cubs have just 2 hits against Pineda. Both have left the yard. And there's your 2-0 score. Pineda's coming up in the 7th inning. This probably will be his last inning because they'll have to pinch hit for him, although the pitch count is in good shape. And the 2-2.
Michael, you were talking about the 108-year drought between championships for the Cubs, and well, that's a long time. And I think you know my mom's from Chicago,
right?
And a lot of relatives here in Chicago, but just about all of them are Sox fans. They like the Chicago White Sox, as Bryant draws a walk, with the exception of one person. And that was my cousin Glenn's father. He was a Cubs fan. And when he passed away, his brother, Grady Jr., the Cubs won last year. He passed away a few years ago. He went out to the graveside to put a Cub flag out by his grave. And he looked around the cemetery. There were Cub flags everywhere. And it shows you, you know, what kind of Cub rooters went through a lot of how long it took.
A lot of people didn't get the chance to see it.
Yeah.
Bryant's at first. Here's Rizzo.
And at his funeral, one of his friends eulogized him and said, you know, it wasn't all that he wasn't old, and he wasn't decrepit or all that. He said the Cubs killed him.
Oh God.
And you know, most of the people in the church were, you know, Sox fans, so they all started, you know, kind of laughing. They were chuckling.
There's the Dorothy, longtime Cub fan who was made famous by our colleagues at Fox during the World Series. How long she's been waiting for that championship.
Good changer from Pineda.
Tommy Lane is up in that beautifully heated bullpen. So 108 years, that was the longest drought in American sports history. You know what's the longest drought now?
Ooh. Any sport you're talking?
Any sport.
I have no idea.
The Arizona Cardinals, 70 years.
70.
Next up, the Indians at 69. Strike three, Rizzo down looking. So Anthony is 1 for 18.
The Arizona Cardinals were the Chicago Cardinals at the time, weren't they?
Yep.
Yep,
St.
they were.
Louis.
Then they went to St. Louis. Another good job of presentation by Gary Sanchez to get the call third strike on Rizzo. So the Cardinals went from Chicago to St. Louis to Arizona. What do you think, Hawaii?
Well, next up on that list, a team that's had many stops. Sacramento Kings, Rochester Cincinnati Royals, KC Omaha Kings, and then the Sacramento Kings, 66 years. Detroit Lions, 60 years. Oh, they've got the runner hung up.
Run at him.
Pineda did a pretty good job with that. If he had thrown, then Bryant would have had a good chance to get back. But as you said, Kenny, ran right at him.
Run right at him, make him commit one way or the other, and then as quickly as you can do it, give the ball up to an infielder, because you don't want to be involved in this rundown. And Pineda did everything exactly right. Here's the toss from Carter to Didi Gregorius, and Bryant is out.
Scored that 1-3-6.
And goes as a caught stealing. Yeah, they don't like pitchers to be involved in those rundowns.
There's Ben Zobrist, 0 for 2. And a strike. Line drive, a base hit to right field. Judge will get the ball in. So a 2-out single for Zobrist. So here's Addison Russell. Girardi trying to get Pineda through this inning. As we mentioned, he's up second in the 7th. This could be his last batter. We saw the lefty Lane warming up. We got Hayward on deck. And what they'll do is they'll simply double switch, or you're going to pinch hit for Lane anyway, so you might not have to double switch. Larry Rothschild wants to go out and talk with Pineda.
He's giving Lane even more time to get ready, but those relievers, it doesn't usually take too many pitches for them to be ready to come into a ball game. Remember when Mariano was with the Yankees, he said 8 or 9 and he's ready to come in.
Well, tomorrow and Sunday, turn to Yes after the nationally televised games for Yankees extra innings postgame coverage. The next game telecast on Yes is Monday night as the Yankees open up a 2-game set with the Reds in Cincinnati. Coverage starts at 6:30 right here on Yes, and Ken Paul O'Neill is going to join us in the booth on the 2 games in Cincinnati, so we figured that's about as long a road trip as he can take. Now the Yankees game against the Cubs tomorrow night is on Fox at 7 p.m. and then Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN on Sunday. Well, that got Sanchez.
Oof. And the home plate umpire Ryan Blackley is taking his time here. Joe Girardi's going to come out and check on his catcher. Let's see if it's direct hit. Yeah, it was. Even though there's a lot of padding and of course the metal guard for the face and padding on those masks, it's still quite a shock when you get hit with a foul ball. Another look. Staggered, but Gary says he's okay. It's one of the things that catchers and umpires have to deal with.
Two 1, 2-2. So the 6th inning's been a tough inning for both catchers, and it was a tough inning for Joe Montana, who threw out the ceremonial first pitch before the game. Watch this one. Yeah.
Well, we said it was windy today.
Two. Popped up. Castro shades his eyes and makes the play for the final out. But the Cubs get a run on the Schwarber home run. 2 hits, 1 man left. Let's take this baby to the 7th. We've got the Yankees and the Cubs here at Wrigley Field on the Cadillac scoreboard, 2-0 Cubs. And the Cubs tighten it up defensively as they bring in Almora to play center field, and John Jay moves from center to left. So they lose Kyle Schwarber's bat. And Carter takes a strike from Dunsing.
That was close, but Dunsing didn't get the call. I don't know if the fans at home can hear the wind howling. Yep. Nice.
So 2-2 on Carter.
Take a look at it. I thought I heard some howling from the Yankee dugout. Yeah, that was high.
Swing and a miss. Carter down on strikes.
Changeup got him.
Matt Holliday will pinch it for Pineda.
Well, Holliday's was limited to pinching appearances in Pittsburgh when the Yankees were on the road for interleague, and at least in his first game, that's the situation here in Chicago.
Now, occasionally, you know, when the Red Sox over the past decade would play in National League parks, they try to squeeze in David Ortiz at first, chasing Shrevers up. But Holliday told us at the end of spring training he didn't play a third of an inning in the field during spring training. All he did was DH. So he said the likelihood of me being in the field, although I would do it, probably not high. Pedro Strop, hard throwing righty, getting ready for the Cubs. Pineda was actually 1 for 1, singled and had a sac bunt. Another adventure into the outfield, shallow fly ball to center, and Almora makes this play for the second out.
Not a fun day for the outfielders.
So here's Gardner. And there's a strike. Gardner's 0 for 2 with a walk. And the pitch. 1-2.
It's a good ways pitch, just off the corner. Trying to get Gardner to bite. Brett usually with a very good eye at the plate. See, that was outside.
Strike 3. Gardner down looking. And Dunsing retires the Yankees in order 1-2-3. The end of 6.5 time for the 7th inning stretch. 2-0 Cubs.
Take Chicago. Let's do it, Gary. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the park. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. So it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. 'Cause it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's go, let's win another one! Go Cubs!
Local Nissan dealer. 2-3-0 for the Cubs. 0-7-1 for the Yankees. They've had their opportunities. They have not cashed in. Pineda, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, both home runs, solo shots, a walk and 6 strikeouts. See what Hendricks did. He's in line to get the win. Bryant, a solo home run in the first. Schwarber, the solo home run in the 6th. So Jason Shreve called up in the middle of the homestand from Swan Wilkes-Barre. He had pitched 3 games before being demoted, and he's in to face Jason Hayward. And a strike. Cadillac scoreboard, 2-0 Cubs.
Well, Pineda had a good game. It's just that 2 to 3 hits he gave up went out of the ballpark. I just, you know, the way the Yankees have been scoring, you give up 2, you're usually going to win. But today the Yankees have been shut down offensively.
Foul ball. But you got to run it out if you're a Yankee fielder. You don't know if the wind's going to blow it back on the field. Hayward's 0 for 2 today. Swing and a miss. He's 0 for 3 as Shreve strikes him out.
Michael, Jason Shreve and Chris Bryant actually went to the same high school together, Bonanza High School in Las Vegas. And Shreve told me that he was unbelievable in high school, but felt like he was overshadowed a little bit because there was so much hype surrounding Bryce Harper. But he said you could tell early that this kid had talent, about the same size height-wise, but clearly has filled out a little bit since then. As far as potentially facing Bryant, he said, I don't like facing people I know. If it happens, fine, but it's not something I enjoy. He did tell me the two are supposed to get dinner tonight.
Very cool story. Also, little known fact, at Bonanza High School, the valedictorian is called Little Joe every year. So it's kind of neat.
Well, I thought Little Joe and
Haas,
and Adam were on that team. Great show, Bonanza.
There's a strike to Contreras.
Sure, the Cubs are happy that Contreras is okay, able to remain in the game. And one of the reasons I say that, because in yesterday's 13-inning game, Miguel Montero hit a home run, but as he was rounding the bases, he had a little problem with a hamstring, and I'm not sure if he would have played today anyway. Contreras got the start against a right-handed pitcher. Montero's a left-handed hitter, so maybe they were giving him a day.
Foul back. High fly ball. Another adventure for Judge. And he makes the play for the second out. Well, that leads to the game changer, brought to you by Pitney Bowes, the craftsman of commerce.
Early in the game, first inning, Starlin Castro line drive to right, double play after the sliding catch by Jason Hayward. Later in the game, Castro's at third trying to tag up, thrown out by Hayward at home plate, another double play. You know, Hayward didn't hit all that much last year after the Cubs signed him. And there's an old adage that an outfielder's value to a team is 70% is his ability to hit. It might have been the other way around for Hayward last year. 30% hitting and 70% defense as he won another Gold Glove.
Here's Matt Caesar. Pinch hitting for the pitcher. Two 2-0 on Caesar. Lower Cape May Regional High School, as Caesar is from New Jersey.
Great vacation spot. I've been to Cape May a couple of times. Sunset Beach, nice ceremony every evening. They have a veteran lower the flag. And also for you golfers, Cape May National, nice course.
Also went to Villanova.
And also on the way to Cape May Beach, you know where you go, what town you go through?
No, what?
Millville.
Mike Troutville.
Mike Trout's hometown, yeah. That flag's being tested.
And Caesar works a 2-out walk. That'll bring up John Jay. Swing and a miss. John Jay was hit by a pitch in the third, grounded to short in the fifth. It's 2-0 Cubs. We're in the bottom of the seventh inning. Shreve deals.
Now with Caesar, who yesterday hit the ground ball, the Phillies are trying to turn a double play late in the ball game. Caesar might have been safe at first anyway, but Freddie Galvis threw the ball away, and the Cubs were able to score the winning run in the 13th inning.
One and two on Jay. Bounced up there, blocked by Sanchez, fires to first. Caesar back.
That's the first time we've seen Gary throw, and his arm looks okay. Now, when he had the injury in Baltimore, he couldn't swing the bat, and he couldn't throw the ball. But as Caesar takes the lead off, now scrambles back.
2-2. And Sanchez wants to talk with Shreve.
Well, he's powered some fastballs by John Jay. Jay was late on this last one. They're trying to figure out, should we try and trick him or just blow him away?
That sort of day here at Wrigley.
Looks like an early April ball game instead of early May.
Crowd of 40,395 here at Wrigley. Grounded foul. That flag's about to fly away. Straining every last cord, holding on to the pole. A lot of construction around Wrigley. Building an entertainment and business complex right across the street. Fly ball, left field. Gardner backs up and makes the play for the final out. No runs, no hits, no errors. On one man left. We go to the eighth inning in the Windy City. 2-0 Cubs. Special WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show, and follow the Yankees manager on a tour around his alma mater, Northwestern, right here in Chicago. That's all new Sunday at 5:30 only on Yes. Our Meredith Morakovitz made the trip and has an interview with Joe at Northwestern. So what room are you in there, Meredith?
That's actually his dorm room, Michael, his first dorm at 600 Lincoln. He took me back there. We also walked around campus. He showed me where his now wife, Kim, where her dorm room used to be, spoke about the story of those two meeting. Also, you saw him talking to the Northwestern baseball team. Pretty cool moments.
And you'll see all of that on Sunday on the Joe Girardi Show. New pitcher is Pedro Strop, and he deals inside to Hicks. Then Zobrist moves from second to left, and Javier Baez takes over at second. Hyundai scoreboard, 2-0 Cubs. Strop deals, check swing by Hicks. He does not go.
Strop's a hard thrower, but when you look at his stats, he's got about a walk per inning here. 8 walks in 8 2/3 innings, 13 strikeouts. That's good. Hard to hit. Looks like he's putting more men on base. He's given up only 3 hits, 8 walks.
Hicks, another good day. He's 2 for 3, doubled in the first, single to right in the third, then grounded to first in the fifth. Hitting .309. I don't know if you've noticed, Kenny, to me it just seems like Hicks is faster this year. He really gets down the line. That ground ball to first, just a normal ground ball, and he almost beat Rizzo to the bag.
Yeah, he did. You know what? And we've noticed it the last couple of years. He's got tools. I mean, he's a great outfielder, tremendous throwing arm. The speed is there. He's got 2 steals. He's been caught twice. I think if somebody like Brett Gardner or Ellsbury would get with him, they could really turn him into a successful base steal.
Right back to Strop. 1 away.
Just give him pointers on what to look for, how to get better jumps. And he's hit the ball better from both sides of the plate this year. This is like the old days at Wrigley Field. The only day game in the major leagues on a Friday.
You know, although they have lights now, they are not allowed to play night games on Friday. That's a rule.
And I think they are limited in the number of night games they can have, period. That was just an agreement with the neighborhood here.
You always used to hear that the Cubs couldn't win a World Series because they played in the day. It was an unfair thing that they had to burden. And I always thought it should be the opposite, Kenny. This is one of the great towns in this country. And there's a lot of things to do for players to get tired at night before they play the day game.
You mean visiting players?
Yes. The home players have to go home.
Yeah, that's true. But the visiting players used to say 9 o'clock in the morning gets to Chicago faster than any place else in the world.
Sanchez could not hold up.
See, but in those days they used to have a lot of suspended games.
Right.
Too dark, you couldn't keep playing.
2-2 on Sanchez.
Every once in a while, Strop will try and quick pitch a hitter. See that Johnny Cueto's done that? He's not quite set. He's ready to throw. And you saw Sanchez hold his hand up on that one.
Swing and a miss. Sanchez down on strikes, 2 away.
Little hesitation in delivery and a big time slider to strike him out. There's Strop, former Baltimore Oriole, as we look at this one on Yesmo.
Castro fouls it off. Two nothing Cubs. Castro fouls it back. Sterling is 1 for 3. Lined into a double play to right field in the first, struck out in the fourth, then had an infield single. Nice diving play to the glove side by Bryant in the sixth, but Castro beat it out. Lined into center field. It's another multi-hit game for Castro.
That's his 14th multi-hit game of the season. He had already extended his hitting streak to 8 straight. That's how you hit 300.
And that'll bring up Aaron Judge. You know, the comparable for Judge is Giancarlo Stanton of the Marlins. And I guess Stanton's been asked a lot of questions about Judge lately. And Joe Trezza of MLB.com said that Stanton's tired of being asked about Judge. He quoted him, "No questions on our team, nothing about anything that matters." So I guess he doesn't want to be peppered with Judge questions.
Well, he might get to meet him firsthand at the home run derby.
That's right. That one gets away from Contreras. Castro moves into scoring position.
Strop trying to really break off a slider, and this one just in the dirt, off the glove, off the mask, and Castro gets himself down to second base.
Another runner in scoring position for the Yankees. Judge is 2 for 3, hitting .341. 3-1.
Well, let's see what Strop does here. Went to the slider.
Last 15 games, the Cubs bullpen sporting a 1.67 ERA. Pitches like this is why.
Just enough of a break, and he was out in front.
3-2. Strike 3. Judge down looking. And Strop pumping his fist on the mound as the Yankees strand another. No runs a hit, no errors in. One man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Cubs lead this one 2-0. It's the premiere, and it's a great show. Now's your chance to see the first episode of Yes's original docuseries, Homegrown: The Path to Pinstripes, featuring unprecedented access to the Yankees' highly touted farm system. Don't miss the pilot episode today following Yankees coverage only on Yes. You're going to love it. So well done, and we got such great access to shoot the show, so you're going to really like it. Jonathan Holder comes on for the Yanks, his 12th game. And Alberto Mora Jr. will lead off and takes a strike.
Now Mora, who grew up in Florida. One of his teammates was Manny Machado back in the day.
Hyundai scoreboard 2-0 Cubs. See what Joe's doing here with the home plate umpire Ryan Blackney.
Maybe he's checking on the moves that the Cubs have made, or maybe not anything that he's done, but he wants to know where everybody's batting.
Yeah, maybe he thinks Almora shouldn't be
leading off.
Almora replaces essentially John Jay, but John Jay moved to left, and now John Jay's out of the game. Zobrist is in left field, and Baez is at second. So Joe sees something that he doesn't like with the lineup, and that's why he waited till the pitch was thrown, rather than do it before. Almora entered in the top of the 7th inning in Schwarber's spot. So the umpires get together and talk things over, and I guess no harm, no foul, nothing wrong with the way Madden has done his switches. Now the Cubs have state-of-the-art video boards in right and in left center. High fly ball, left field. Gardner makes the play. But what I've always been amazed at, Kenny, the manual scoreboard out in center that's been there forever. The pitcher will throw the pitch, and it almost seems like they change the ball and strike quicker than your eye could get up to the board. It's absolutely stunning. It almost seems like it's before the umpire raises his arm. So that's my go-to spot for the count.
Isn't that, well, it's still electronic though. Isn't that part of it electronic?
I would think so.
Yeah. I mean, when they put the out-of-town scores up, that's all by hand.
Now we'll watch together.
All right.
So the count 1-0 on Bryant. Now, somebody's hitting a button to do that.
That's a lot of concentration. I mean, you can't turn away for a second.
No. 1-1. That's fast.
That's quick.
I'm telling you, it's incredible. And if you're not watching on a split screen like we are with a box there, if you just look down at your scoreboard or scorecard and then look up, the numbers change.
Yeah.
One, 2. A little slow on that one. 2-2. And the pitch. And he tips it into the glove of Sanchez. Strike 3, 2 away. And I guess Bryant's saying that it hit the dirt. And we'll see.
Let's see, he just gets a piece of it.
He's right.
He's right, yeah. And they're going to check with one of the, I guess, first base umpire, Alan Porter, and Bryant's headed back to the dugout.
That is not a reviewable play.
It's not. Now, did he miss it altogether, or did he tip it? Yeah. See, that might be the question here.
I think he thought he tipped it. Obviously, he wouldn't have questioned it then. Otherwise, it just would have been a strikeout.
It's Sanchez tagging.
Rizzo rips one to right field, but into the seats foul.
Close to the plate Rizzo is. His hands are actually look like they're over the inside corner. He's been hit by pitches 7 times this year. And that would tell you one thing. Standing that close, he's looking to pull the ball.
0 for 3 today, 1 for his last 18. Hitting .228. Now in the 9th inning, the Cubs have Hector Rondon warming up. Why? Because Wade Davis has pitched in each of the last 3 days against the Phillies, so he's their closer. Rondon used to be their closer before Chapman, so he's going to try to close it out in the 9th. And the 1-2. Due up for the Yankees in the 9th, it's Gregorius, Headley, and Carter. And then if anybody gets on, a pinch hitter for Holder. There's Rondon.
Now, last year Rizzo was my pick for the MVP in the National League. And in some years he might have gotten it, except that Chris Bryant had a great year for the Cubs on a pennant-winning team. Rizzo had a very good year as well. Good 1-2 tandem, 1-2 punch in that lineup.
Rizzo has hit 6 foul balls in this at bat, count 2-2. Fly ball center field. He's going to dunk in for a base hit. So Rizzo wins that battle.
Rizzo, who's been struggling, got a base hit. Only a couple of left-handed hitters in Cub history have had multiple 30 home run and 100 RBI seasons. Rizzo's one of them. The other's Hall of Famer Billy Williams. I get this quick story in with 2 outs. Billy Williams was playing for the Cubs. Now was playing for Montreal, I believe. And he's playing first base. I get down to first base. Billy Williams says, "Kid, next time up, I'm going to hit a rocket to left center field." The only reason I'm telling you this because you're playing right field, you won't have to chase it. And he did it.
Called the shot. Didi battling the wind makes the play to retire Zobrist. No runs a hit, no errors. One man left. Yankees in the ninth, coming up, down 2-0. Yes, Monday night at 11. Don't miss the premiere of Derek Jeter, Moments, Memories, and Monument for a candid conversation between the captain and our very own Jack Curry. And remember, we'll have more than 50 hours of Derek Jeter-themed programming, all leading up to live coverage of the Jeter Night ceremony next Sunday at the stadium, right here on Yes. Well, Rondon will come on, try to close this out. 13th game, 11 in the third innings, 13 strikeouts, 5 walks. Opponents hit 125 against him. The Cubs gave up a lot to get Chapman. And they just simply felt that Rondon wasn't quite ready to lead them to a World Series. And Anthony Rizzo said today to Marley Rivera of ESPN, he said, we don't win the World Series without Aroldis Chapman. Not even a debate. There's a strike.
Well, Rondon's had as many as 30 saves in a season for the Cubs.
She's hedging her bet. Yankee jersey, Cub hat.
Going home happy one way or the other.
Last 4 days for the Cubs pen, including today, 17 2/3 innings, 2 runs. One and 2 on Didi. Gregorius 1 for 3. Grounded to first. A fly ball to right. Single to center. The single to center was off the glove of John Jay. Just a high, shallow fly ball. The wind took and Jay couldn't handle it. 2 and 2.
Rondon fastball mid to upper 90s. Like most closers, power.
Yankees 17 and 9 have not been shut out all year. They've scored at least 1 run in every game. Losing 2-0 right here. Ground ball right side, fielded by Rizzo. Over to Rondon, 1 away. Catch the WB Mason postgame immediately following the final out of the Cinco de Mayo clash as Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry are in the studio for highlights and analysis. Plus Meredith gets reaction from here at Wrigley, and it's only on Yes. here's Chase Headley. Headley came up in the second inning, right around third, one out. Infield was in. He had a ground ball to Zobrist, who threw home and got Aaron Judge at home plate. Then he came up with the bases loaded in the sixth inning and one out. Hit the ball well, a line drive to Hayward, and Castro tagged at third. Really should not have, and he was out by 10 feet in a collision with Contreras. One and one. Two and one.
You had mentioned Wade Davis having been worked so hard the last few days, not available for today, but he's had an outstanding start to the season. 7 saves. Hadn't given up a run.
And they made that trade with the Royals to replace Chapman to get Davis. 2-1. 3-1 on Headley. Man gets on. Guy at the plate would be the tying run for the Yankees. Guy on deck, Chris Carter. Ground ball and through for a base hit for Headley. So that brings Carter up as a tying run. Yankees have played, including this game, 13 games at Wrigley Field, including the World Series games. They've never been shut out. Trying to avoid that right here. Now Jacoby Ellsbury comes out on deck. Fastball strike on the outside corner.
Right to the glove. Just a question whether it was high enough. See Contreras with a little subtle move of the glove. Might have got the strike call.
That one gets past Contreras all the way to the backstop, and that moves Headley to second, and more importantly keeps him out of a double play on a ground ball.
So that will go as a wild pitch. Very wild.
A lot of Yankee fans here. Crowd of over 40,000. Did he go? Yes, he did, said Alan Porter. That swings the count.
Yep.
One, two. Still 1-2.
Outfielders playing back. They'll give up the base hit. Let the run score. They don't want Carter going over their heads.
Contreras calls time.
I don't know if this has anything to do with science now that Headley's out at second base.
Just got a piece to stay alive, fouls it back. Carter had a big home run, a pinch hit 3-run shot in Pittsburgh. Asking a lot for any right-handed hitter to get it out to left field today. Two-two. Still 2-2. "17 pitches so far for Rondon. Seven pitches so far to Carter. Strike three, Carter down looking. And the Yankees are down to their final out. Carter has struck out 3 times and walked once today.
Yeah, no contact afternoon as Rondon dots the outside corner for call, strike 3. Yep.
So that's going to bring up Ellsbury and bring Bosio out to the mound to talk things over about how they want to go at Ellsbury. Ellsbury has had an inflamed nerve in his left elbow, and he injured that making a catch at the wall in Yankee Stadium against the Blue Jays. Ryan Goins.
Dylan Betances is up in the Yankee bullpen.
So here's Ellsbury. Pinch hitting for Holder. On deck Gardner. So by using Ellsbury here, you have eliminated the opportunity to backdate him if you do put him on the DL. So if he goes on the DL, he would
from today on.
One and one. If possible, the wind seems to be getting stronger now, blowing straight in. And the 1-1. 2-1 on Ellsbury. Headley's at second, 2 men out in the 9th inning. It's 2-0 Cubs, the first game of this 3-game set. Game 2 tomorrow night at 7 on Fox. Sunday night on ESPN. Two-1. 3-1 on Ellsbury.
Joe Madden not happy with this call. It's close. Looks like it drops out of the zone.
Headley leads off second. The pinch hitter Ellsbury with a 3-1 count. 9th inning pitch. Not even close. That'll put the tying run on first base and bring up Gardner. Gardner is 0 for 3 with a walk today.
Hit the ball hard his first time up.
Now the last 2 times up for Gardner, he saw 10 pitches. He did not swing at 1. Gardner 4 home runs, 7 runs batted in. Strike. Crowd on its feet. The 0-1. Almost hit him, 1-1. Aaron Hicks is on deck. Chapman and Betances up, just in case there's a bottom of the 9th inning. Strike 2. 1-2. Yankees down to their final strike here at Wrigley. Rondon sets. And the pitch. And the 1-2. Fouled straight back. Yankees have had opportunities today, plenty of opportunities. Some questionable base running, the inability to get hits with runners in scoring position. They've gotten good pitching, but they have been unable to get the big hit. Gardner himself has seen 27 pitches today, and the wind is still a factor. The 1-2, 2-2. Nail biting time here at Wrigley.
Two first-place teams going at it today.
Rondon sets. 2-2. High fly ball, right field. Hayward turns, looks, see ya! A 3-run home run for Brett Gardner, and the Yankees have taken a 3-2 lead.
Down to the last strike. Looked like Rondon hung a slider. Gardner's had the home run swing working lately. Slider down and in. Now down and out. And the Yankees have the lead.
Aaron Hicks takes upstairs 1-0. So it took them to their final strike, as Kenny said, before they got the big hit, and boy, was it a big one. A 3-run shot. Gardner's 5th home run of the year, and the Yankees have the lead. Here are the fans watching the home run ball. The Yankee fans seem happy. And Rondon really is up there in pitch count. 33. That was number 30, the one to Gardner, and that was his reaction. In because Wade Davis, they didn't want to use him 4 days in a row. Strike.
Did you see Gardner's reaction rounding first base?
Yep. Ground ball right side, through for a base hit. Hicks with 3 hits today.
Well, Brett Gardner, I think he was fired. He's still fired up after hitting that home run. But watch his reaction when he sees the ball disappear over the fence. Yeah.
Moments like that, you realize it's still a kid's game. There's still that just unbridled joy when you do something like Brett Gardner just did. Here's Gary Sanchez, runner at first. And Rondon is close to being cooked right now. 36 pitches.
Well, it's safe to say he won't be available tomorrow.
Oh, 2. Pena is up. Cubs carry 8 pitchers in the bullpen. 6 righties and 2 lefties. Runner goes, and it gets away from Contreras. A stolen base for Hicks.
Third of the year for Hicks. And Michael, we were talking about his speed. He should be a guy who could, you know, get well into double figures in stolen bases.
Way outside. Contreras trying to get Rondon through this inning.
Chris Bosio, the pitching coach, checking to see if Pena's ready in the bullpen. You get the feeling one way or the other this is going to be Rondon's last man.
Two. Grounded left side. Russell Fields over to first. They get Sanchez, and that will end the inning, but not before the Yankees have taken the lead on a cold Friday afternoon. Yankees down to their final strike. Brett Gardner said, nah, let's make the afternoon just a little bit longer and a little bit more fun. Chapman got his ring for being part of the World Series Cubs before the game in a nice ceremony. You see the size of the ring there, and Chapman was a big part of it. We said earlier, Anthony Rizzo said we don't win that World Series without Aroldis Chapman. Joe Madden rode hard and often and got the job done. And then Chapman at the end of the year became a free agent. The Yankees signed him to a 5-year deal as he wanted to return here. So he'll try to shut down the defending World Series champions in the bottom of the 9th inning, a team that he helped become world champions. 12th game for Chapman. He's 6 for 6 in save opportunities. Now Adam Warren also got his ring, but he wasn't on the World Series roster. He'd been traded to the Yankees. So they gave him his ring earlier in private. So the Yankees lead this one 3-2, bottom of the 9th. A lot of Yankee fans have made their way to Chicago for the weekend, and they're happy right now. About 10 minutes ago, they were not, as the Yankees looked as if they were going to get shut out, but Brett Gardner had other ideas. So Chapman against Russell. And there's a strike.
Game turned around in the blink of an eyelash. Just one pitch. Yogi knew what he was talking about.
It ain't over till it's over.
That's right. It's still not over.
Now 3-1 now on Russell. There'd been some controversy after the World Series where Chapman had said that Madden probably had overused him just a little bit.
He's thinking about Game 6.
That's one of the games.
Yeah.
Rounded to third and past Headley, and it goes into left field. Russell is going to go to second, and he will make it. So an E5 on Headley.
See Headley's reaction to missing this ground ball. I don't know if he had problems seeing it or not, but that ball should have been caught for sure. Off the webbing of the glove and on down the left field line, and Russell's on second with 2-base error. Let's see how the Cubs want to play it from here. Yankees are expecting the bunt.
Here's Jason Hayward. Yankees in at the corners. Russell's at second with the tying run, bottom of the 9th inning.
Carter's in at first, Headley's in at third.
Swing and a miss, no bunt there. 0-1. And the 0-1 pitch. Fly ball, shallow left, long run for Didi. Boy, the wind took that back to the infield, and he couldn't get there. Gardner was on the run. Didi was on the run. Couldn't get there.
See where Didi lines up. He's trying to hold the runner Russell close at second. The player who was closest to that was Headley, but he was in expecting to bunt. So this was back over his shoulder. He didn't have a good angle on it. And he's watching Didi attempting to make the catch in this fierce wind.
Didi started out running to the outfield and then had to change direction. Tell you what, Kenny, today the wind is as much of a factor as any player on the field.
Yeah. It is one of those days here in Chicago, aptly named the Windy City.
1-2. Strike 3. Hayward down looking.
After all those fastballs, he went to a slider, froze Hayward, and the ball dropped over for a strike. He thinks it's another fastball going to be inside. There's the break, and another very subtle move of the glove by Gary Sanchez to maybe help pick up a strike, although that was a strike.
There's Wilson Contreras. Used to be on the receiving end of Chapman's pitches. Now he has to try to hit them. Blew it right by him. 0-1. Kenny spoke about this earlier when Judge made an error in right. Nobody is rooting harder for Chapman now than Headley.
They're all probably rooting for ground balls too. That's
the 0-1. Throwing gas, 99 miles an hour. And Sanchez wants to talk with Chapman.
Well, not quite yet, but the shadow is creeping across home plate. Not quite yet a factor.
To third. Headley gets Contreras for the second out, and Russell remains at second, and the Cubs are down to their final out. And that'll bring up Baez. First time he'll hit today. Came into the field earlier. Girardi quickly out to the mound to talk things over.
Oh, this guy's been hot lately. 3-game hitting streak. Well, up until yesterday when he went 0 for 5, he had been 7 for 11.
Now Baez is batting 8th. Rondon, the pitcher, is due 9th. And so they have Montero in the on-deck circle to pinch hit for the pitcher. So it comes down to this, bottom of the 9th inning at Wrigley Field. Yankees 3, Cubs 2, tying runs at second base. Javier Baez at the plate. Strike 1.
Started him with a slider.
Addison Russell leads off second. Castro checks him back. Baez at the plate, 0-1 count. Chapman on the mound.
Another slider. If need be, 3 strong arms in the Yankee outfield.
Cubs down to their final strike. Mostly everybody in this ballpark is standing. And they want to get it right. Sanchez goes out and tosses with his pitcher.
Yeah, they want to be on the same page, what they're going to throw, where they're going to throw it. Are we going to waste a pitch, try and get him to chase? Joe wants one of the out. He wants Castro to move away from second. give him some more lateral room to maneuver. And that means Russell can lengthen his lead.
Ball game. Yankees win 3-2. Another come from behind victory, and the Yankees start the weekend at Wrigley with a W.
Well, the first 2 pitches had been away, sliders over the outside corner, and it looked like it was another slider or something that took off inside.
Let's take a look at the replay, brought to you by New York Presbyterian, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Amazing things are happening here.
Well, he wants it down and away again, but this one takes off inside, and there's a strikeout that ends the ball game. Wow, that pitch just took off.
On a day that the wind was so fierce, you figured nothing would be able to get out. All the runs in the game scored via the home run, but none bigger than the 3-run shot by Brett Gardner as the Yankees were down to their final strike in the top of the 9th inning, and Brett is with Meredith Marakovich right now.
Thanks, Michael. Brett, down to your final strike in the 9th inning. You were able to battle back from being down in the count. How were you able to do so?
Just looking for a pitch to hit. He actually threw me a couple fastballs earlier in the count that were good pitches to hit. I either took them or I was late. So he left a slider up. I put a good swing on it. But, you know, just got to say Chase Headley got on base.